everybody. It's me, Richard Burns. What a weird intro. Well, let me tell you, you are right now in a very special place, a magical place. This is the Solomon Project, where it's not how much you make, it's how much you keep that counts. Yeah, I mean, I say it all the time, but that's the reality. That's the truth. And I hope the audio's okay, because right now I shut everything down to minimize the noise, but there's that refrigerator in the back kicking it. Let me see something important. I want you to look at this guy, if he's still here. Don't tell him I put him away. I put him away, didn't I? Did I do that? Well, okay. Whatever. I want you to take a look at this guy. And I want you to tell me why he's not popping up. Because he's not here. That's why he's not popping up. That is why he's not popping up. So let's just take a break for a minute. Yeah, so take a good look at this guy. So if you're standing next to this guy right here, right now, looking at him, would you feel intimidated? Would you feel like calling 911 and having the cops rush over to defend you? All right. He's not some assassin for the government or anything like that. Let me clarify. Please let me clarify. Yeah, no, he's not some black ops assassin or anything like that. No. This is Eddie C. Brown. And this is someone who the professor had spoken about. And if I'm not mistaken, she's reading his biography or something like that. I'm going to cheat. I saw him in a couple of interviews. And there's one thing he has that I admire, and that's the fact that he is not arrogant. All too often in our community, I get this sense of an air of superiority from members of our community that achieve things that most don't. However, some people don't qualify as 2%ers. Let me clarify. A 2%er is not a person that is rich, although you will find rich people as 2%ers. This has nothing to do with acquiring wealth. Being a 2%er is a person that focuses on things that they want to achieve, and they block out all the negativity and they push forward. No matter how many obstacles are thrown in their path, no matter how many distractions are put in their path, they push forward and they achieve. Now, you can push forward and fail depending on what it is that you're trying to achieve, because if you're not keeping it real about what you want to try to achieve, then chances are you will fail. But the most important thing is that you put the negativity aside, you put the distractions aside, and you push forward. That's what makes you a 2%er. It's not how much money you have. So let's dig into this guy. I'm going to cheat. The professor's going all out. she's doing the actual book reading. Very commendable. Something you don't see too often anymore. And even if you acquire your information by other means other than reading, you're still learning. Hopefully you're getting it from a good source and not some crazy. That doesn't mean that you can't have lousy sources in book form. You can do that. You can have that too. Here's the main thing about Mr. Eddie C. Brown, okay? Mr. Brown here was born to a 13-year-old mother, which, back when he was born, it wasn't that uncommon, honestly. You know, it wasn't until Moses freed the slaves that, oh no, it's not that far back. Stop playing, man. All right, so this gentleman was born in Apopka, Florida. That's right by Orlando, for those of you who don't know the geography. It's right next to Orlando. And he was born, let me see. The thing is that he was born in Apopka in 1940. Jim Crow was alive and well, especially in Florida, in 1940. And his mom was 13 years old, as I mentioned before. It says here he lived in a rural hamlet. Like a hamlet? Like, what the hell is a hamlet? We don't use those terms here. Well, it's a hamlet. You look it up. He lived in a hamlet. Okay, agriculture dominated the local economy. And like I mentioned, Jim Crow laws, prior to their repeal, kept blacks and whites rigidly ensconced in separate, unequal worlds. Ensconced, bro. An unequal world. Brown's mother left when she was 15, after which Brown's grandparents, Jake and Mammy Brown Sr., and his uncle, Jake Brown Jr., raised him. You know, I read that wrong. Jake and Mammy Brown Sr. Mammy Brown Sr. and his uncle. There you go. Let's read it correctly. Can we really read it correctly, please? Look at that. I'm like Biden right now. Brown's academic excellence manifested in elementary school. Oh, look at that. So he had a little something going on that Killer Earl didn't have. And a little something that Killer Ron, I guess, didn't pursue. Academia. When Brown was 6, his entrepreneurial Uncle Jake taught him how to drive a flatbed truck. Isn't that a nice way of putting it? His entrepreneurial uncle. Enabling fruit pickers to load boxes of oranges, grapefruit, and tangerines in Apopka's citrus groves. Jake also ran a thriving moonshine enterprise in Central Florida. And under his tutelage, Brown was piloting hot rods filled with white lightning by the time he was 11 years old. 1940. No, okay, so this was after 1940, probably in the 1950s. So, yeah. Alcohol was legal by that time. But it says moonshine, so I don't know if moonshine is legal. I doubt it. A disapproving relative quietly contacted Brown's mother, who snatched her son out of Apopka and relocated him to Allentown, Pennsylvania. Now he's in the north. Jim Crow's still alive. Still alive up in the north, too. Maybe not as maybe they're not as strict in the North, but yeah, the North has their, hey, let's not kid ourselves. Brown attended an integrated high school in Allentown, where he continued to be a top academic performer. See, he's got a strong hold in that academia nut. He graduated with honors from Allentown High School, one of 5 African Americans out of a class of 760 students. Wow, would that have happened down south back then? No, I don't think so. Brown had no realistic prospects of attending college until a white woman who owned a casket making business. A white woman who owned a casket making business, that's a dead end job, in Allentown, offered to subsidize his higher education. What? Okay. You see, you can't paint everybody with a single brush. You can't. Here's an example. Brown never met his he didn't even know. Brown never met his benefactor. He didn't even know that this woman was doing that, whose offer was made through a proxy. One of his lifelong regrets is never having thanked her face to face. Look at that, man. She didn't even want the credit. She didn't even want to have something to rub in anybody's face or anything like that. Folks, you can't paint everybody with the same brush. You can't. Yes, there are exceptions, and there's the rule. I understand that, but here's an exception. Brown has a passionate interest in philanthropy. I laugh at that word, philanthropy. You know what that is? They're so giving, right? Well, there are plenty of billionaires that give and give a lot, but they give it to organizations, and guess what they do with those contributions? They deduct it from their taxes. Oh, they're so nice. His benefactor's largesse allowed Brown to earn a bachelor's in electrical engineering in 1961 from Howard University in Washington. In Washington, D.C., Howard University is an Ivy League, guys. Hey, don't get it twisted. This guy's got a brain. He probably looks like that picture I showed you guys in my live. What? This guy, okay, so this guy eventually took a position as a portfolio manager with the investment firm T. Rowe Price. A decade later, Brown left to start Brown Capital Management. He started his own, which initially operated out of his suburban Baltimore home. So he moved to Baltimore. A valuation-conscious investor. Sounds like somebody I know. Who? Richard Burns. Who's that? Well, anyway. So this guy blew up. I'm gonna cut it short because I'm about to burn up inside this truck. He achieved greatness. He became wealthy. He became wealthy. So he's going into the excuse killer pile. Although in this case, this guy, he was extremely smart. Extremely smart. But don't give up hope. Oh my goodness, I just saw a picture of him and his wife. It's popping up now. Yeah, oh, this is terrible. She looks like a female sow. You know who that is. Yeah, they might be siblings, I don't know. I'm not gonna show her a picture. Yeah, she looks like a female Thomas Sowell. But yeah, this guy Eric, he's an excuse killer. He's an excuse killer. Although we have to keep in mind that he did have someone step in with some funds that helped him acquire a degree. You can't put that aside. Killer Earl didn't have that. Killer Ron didn't have that either. Nobody stepped in and put out some money for them. Nobody did that. But we're going to include him because, you see, although the money was provided for him, he still could have been a total slacker. He could have deviated from the path that he got on. He could have. And as far as the greater society, the greater white society was concerned, that's the direction that he should have gone, was the direction everybody else from his community went to. You know, prison, the graveyard early, dirt poor. He still could have gone down that route. So Eddie is an excuse killer, y'all. I'm not going to put everything out there on Ed like I did with the others, because right now the professor's probably still reading his biography. Even though she's an avid reader, she said she was going to start reading his books. I don't know exactly when she started, if she started, and if she did start. Back when she said she did, then she probably read it and read all 500 pages of his life in maybe 3 hours. Because the professor's like that. She devours information. Like I devoured donuts. No, listen. That's going to be it. I got to stop here. I have to. I'm sorry. I know I'm going to stay on here, but I can't do it because, wow, that's a terrible 4-letter word, huh? Can't? That's a 4-letter word. That's the type of word you need to get slapped upside your mouth with a ruler. Okay, I have to get out because it's starting to get very hot in this truck. I can't keep it idling for air conditioning because I have to step out here in Alabama. What town am I in Alabama? This is the professor's home state. But what town am I in? Let's see. Yes, it's starting to become difficult to breathe in here. How do you pronounce it? Attalla? Attalla? Attalla? That's where I'm at. I'm going to have to hitch a ride with Kitty because it's starting to get ridiculous. Yo, Kitty, pick me up! Arabam Dacia, seviyorum çift kalem aça. Göremedi kimseden fayda. İşler